Okay friends, this is all you need to make the layout for the Gothic Arch greenhouse. Ribs. I've thought about different ways of trying to put this out, but I think it'll be best just right here. So if you want the layout, come here and stop the video and copy it down. It's pretty simple. You take a large space that's about 14 by 14, say a wooden floor would be excellent, and you lay out marks at 1 foot increments, both horizontal and perpendicular. And on this layout, the center line starts at 1 foot, which is kind of confusing when going from the paper to the floor, but basically at 1 foot height you go from that center line 10 feet 6 inches, and you put a block, and you do the same thing at 2 feet. At the 3 foot height you only go 10 feet 4 1/4 inch. At the 4 foot line you go 10 feet 2 inch. At 5 you go 9 foot 10 inch 1/4. At 6 foot you go 9 feet 4 inch 3/4. The next one is 8 feet 9 1/4 inch. 7 feet 11 1/4 inch. 6 foot 10 inches. 5 foot 5 inches 3/4. 3 feet 10 inches. And the top one is, it's even hard for me to read, 2 feet. Its mark is right there. The other thing that you need to know is the first block is 2 feet. Then you have a 6 inch space, and you have another block. They call them 6 inch blocks. Then you have a space that's 12 inches or 1 foot and a 6 inch block, and so on. This top one needs to be a 2 foot piece as well, but you do cut it back a little bit because it'll run wild when you put together your ribs, and then you'll cut it just so to match your center line when you're finished. When you put your blocks on the floor, it's sort of hard because you need to put your blocks here and here, because you'll be working your lath pieces to screw them into your block here. You'll probably have a clamp right in the center, and then you'll put screws on either side of that clamp. So you really need to block up where you're not going to need to screw. And your blocks have to have enough room for your frame, which is going to be 2 pieces of lath on one side, the block, and 2 pieces of lath on the other side. Then when you get ready to put it together, you're going to glue everything. You're going to put glue on the lath on both sides, or where they touch, and then where they touch the blocks as well. I wonder what else I could tell you about that. It's basically pretty simple. And this is all you need. And I think we got all of these measurements on film as well as spoken, so you can replay it as often as you wish to get those measurements. But basically this is all you need. When you get finished putting your greenhouse up, you're going to see blocks here which are going to run from rib to rib, and that's about all you'll see at the end. And if you make it like mine, you'll have to make special pieces for your end wall to tie in to this rafter, just so, and you'll just have to figure it out as you go there. I'm going to try and get some other pages on this same video. This is the lower part of page 2 of the instructions that talks about erecting the Gothic arch structure, and you can just stop the video and read it. This is the first page of the instructions, which is really hard to read even in the pamphlet, so I'll try and blow them up individually and let you take a look. Okay, this actually, you can see it better this way than you can in the pamphlet, for me, on my computer screen, blown up like this. It shows this is the floor plan. It shows the rafters at 4-foot centers. It shows the ridge line is in the middle of the structure, and it shows that it's 21 feet from outside to outside. However, depending on what your ridge thickness is, that will increase slightly. And it has some plans for doors, which are 4-foot doors. Okay, this is a very interesting picture of the side view framing, which on the original construction you sunk posts and then you bolted the rafters onto the posts. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I don't think it would work very good for you. It also shows this piece, which will be essential in this kind of design for you to put in, whether you put it in exactly like they have it or not. This says to use a 1x4 material in between here. And you'll just have to study this picture really to to get an idea of what you might do. It does say to use 2 1x6 ridge boards for the ridge, and I'd suggest your 5/4 on that deal. The original plan, the greenhouse was 40 feet long, and they show the ridge terminating at 13 feet from ground level, but it will depend on how you put it together. They didn't cover the very bottom, but suggested putting on optional hard siding, and they just used a regular plastic film, which they made a trench in the ground to hold it down. So that, you know, if you want a quickie, that could be good. It also shows these horizontal braces, which in our greenhouse just run through the thing, and then we had to fur out to support the material on top of them. And I'm not sure what that might be suggesting. These are really carpenter plans, so what you do is going to have to be modified for your particular applications. It's not, and they're not necessary, you know, they won't necessarily work for you, but you're going to have to make them work. It's like a boat plan. Okay, this is another